It's the radio guy, Mike Prince. Welcome to another live episode of the Mike Prince Show. Sunday night live edition. Of course, our mission is to bring you the news that you can use each and every day. Our sponsors for tonight's episode, Brazos Valley Schools Credit Union. 13 locations to better serve you. The Purple Drip Daiquiri and Grill, located in Prairie View, Texas. Caribbean food waiting to introduce themselves to your palate. Temple of Refuge Ministries. We also would like to thank Prairie View Athletic Club, Diva Skin Conditioner, Mr. Lee Van Richardson, attorney of law, located in Hempstead, Texas. He's actually a graduate of Waller High School. And we want to thank each and every one of you that have made it possible to be with us on tonight. We have a special guest list for you on tonight. Waller Bulldogs keep their playoff hopes alive, as we'll hear from head football coach Gene Johnson. We'll also hear from athletic director of the Prairie View A&M University Panthers, Dr. Donald Reed. And we'll wrap things up with the head basketball coach of the Waller Bulldogs, Earl Claiborne. As the Bulldogs jump out to a 2-1 start, we'll get a wrap up with him on their preview of Tuesday's performance, scheduled to be broadcast here at the Open Mic Broadcast Network. A lot going on right now. NFL doing its thing. The Steelers staying hot, doing what needs to be done. Go to 10-0. Cowboys in a battle right now with the Vikings. Texans win. And I didn't do too well on my picks this weekend on the college ranks. But it is what it is. So without that being delayed too much longer, we'll jump right into tonight's episode. Well, as you know, the Steelers keep doing what they're doing, and it's one of those deals. I am, a huge fan. I do not waver my adoration for the Steelers, but I'm not one of those in-your-face type fans. I just take it for what it is, and the exciting thing and somewhat of a frustrating thing, even though today was a little bit better, have not really seen a total game from the Steelers. So I'm thoroughly excited about that when we can get everything lined up. The projections of spring football throughout the rest of the country, in particular on the FCS scale, was at one point, looking pretty good. Then it got to a 50-50 chance. But now it is really dropping that if you'll even get this thing off at all. So we'll be checking the pulse on that to see what can happen. I do have an emergency plan in the event that you can't get a full scheduled season off. I'm on record for saying that maybe you should just go ahead and have your annual spring game that you customarily have across the country, and then try to schedule a home-and-home with your immediate rival. In Prairie View's case, they would play Texas Southern. You play your spring game, have a week off, play either away or at home, take another week off, then play the opposite schedule. And then you call it the season for the spring. And you could do the same thing with Grambling versus Southern, Alcorn versus Jackson. And you could also wrap up with Valley versus Pine Bluff. I think it'll be a balance. It won't be the full season, but it will give you enough to whet the appetite. Because if you're like I am, the college football season, you're kind of watching it, but it's kind of a run of the muck as far as I'm concerned, because I haven't had my SWAC football. And give me my SWAC football. If you got that type of attitude and thirst for the support of the SWAC. I thought that Indiana was going to let the carpet ride a little bit further, but they fell short and ended up losing to the Ohio State Buckeyes. But they're doing okay, I guess. And poor Sumlin They have lost 9 consecutive games, and the water is somewhat troubled with the Arizona Wildcats. So we'll see how all of that plays out. Got a whole lot to get, so we got to get us a break in, get ready for our first guest of the evening, head football coach of the Waller Bulldogs, and that's none other than Coach Gene Johnson. We'll talk a little high school football, get some things lined up for the big week that lies ahead against the College Station Cougars and everything else that's lined up. So what we'll do, we'll take us a break, and we'll come back with more of tonight's edition of the Mike Prince Show live version right here at the Open Mic Broadcast Network. Keep it right where you got it, and we'll be right back. Hello, I'm Dr. Mike Prince, the pastor of the Temple of Refuge Ministries located in Prairie View, Texas. I am extending a personal invitation to you to come and worship with us Sunday mornings, 10 a.m. Central Standard Time. Simply dial 857-777-0000 and join us for our morning worship. In the event that you miss us live, you can always go to our on-demand center at 720-721-1558 to listen to our latest sermons and Bible studies. Temple of Refuge Ministries, where we're building the kingdom, one soul at a time. Numbers to dial again for our live sermons, 857-777-0000, and on demand, 720-721-1558. Be blessed. Brazos Valley Schools Credit Union has 13 different locations to better serve you. Locations in Rosenberg, Missouri City, Katy, College Station, Bryan, Brenham, and Waller, Texas. For more information, you can contact them on their toll-free number, 855-391-2149. Or you can send an email to information@bvscu.org. The Purple Drip Daiquiri and Grill is a restaurant to soothe your Caribbean taste buds. Located at 629 Sharon Street in Prairie View, Texas, the Purple Drip Daiquiri and Grill has a variety of options to choose from: curry goat, curry chicken, stew beef, jerk chicken, oxtails, barbecue chicken, pork chops, chicken tenders, meatloaf, hamburgers, nachos, turkey wings, fried chicken, and don't forget the sides: white rice, green beans, pork and beans, mashed potatoes, cabbage, rice and peas, French fries, and fried cabbage. The Purple Drip has convenient hours to satisfy any appetite. Monday through Fridays, 10 a.m. to 12 a.m. Saturdays from 10 a.m. to 1 a.m. The Purple Drip, we're dripping out the spot. Call and make your order today. 346-978-2875. That number again, 346-978-2875. The Purple Drip Daiquiri and Grill, Prairie View, Texas. And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Sunday Night Live edition of the Mike Prince Show. As we get ready to stay in Waller County, Texas, we will go, I guess, a little bit east from the studios and go to Waller, Texas, and speak with the head football coach of the Waller Bulldogs. An impressive win on Thursday, and the table was set for Friday. Then we had an upset we'll talk about in just a little bit, but we'll present to some and introduce to others. Coach Gene Johnson, how you doing this evening, Coach?
Doing great. Thank you for having me.
Well, thank you for making yourself available, sir. Strong performance on Thursday night. Man, I was saying to myself, man, I like these Thursday night performances. You think we can schedule the rest of the year like that, Coach?
Yeah, we'll move all these other games up to Thursday if the guys are going to play like that, for sure.
Yes, sir. We had a technical challenge on the attempt for the broadcast on Thursday. So if you don't mind, sir, give us a recap on how things played out for you guys.
Well, we got off to a bad start, and lost the opening kickoff, and we're about to take the ball on the opening kickoff and started about the 50-yard line on our first offensive possession, but we fumbled it away. And so they responded and took advantage of our turnover and went up 8-0. And then, but I thought our kids really bounced back directly right after that. And we reeled off 21 points there in the first half to go into intermission, leading 21-8. And the kids did some good things there. And then we came out at the beginning of the third quarter, and the third quarter has kind of been our nemesis this year. And so we gave up a couple of scores there in the third quarter. Particular one that really hurt was we had them pinned down probably inside the 15 on a punt, and the kid just made a phenomenal play and broke 3 or 4 or 5 tackles and came out of there. And so they entered the fourth quarter leading 22-21, but our kids regrouped and really put on a great performance in that fourth quarter and ended up scoring 22 points and to get the win at 43-22, and just kind of, the idea that had some negative things happen and we bounced back from them so well and kept playing and kept fighting and pushing was, I thought, a step in the right direction for us as a program.
We're talking live right now with Coach Gene Johnson of the Waller Bulldogs, victorious to improve their district record to 3-3. And it's amazing, Coach, that a few weeks ago we were wondering if we were going to get a season off. And I'm knocking on wood and crossing eyes, toes, and fingers that we're 2 games away from completing the season and still in the thicket of conversation as far as Bulldog football is concerned. You got to be somewhat pleased with how this season is unfolding for you thus far.
Well, we do. There's been some games. I look all the way back to Tomball at 21-21, and of course the Bryan game we opened with the lead at halftime there, and I think maybe even in the third or fourth quarter we were leading maybe at one point in that game. And of course, you mentioned the Tomball game we were tied at halftime, and the Caney Creek game, the Porter game a couple weeks ago. So, I mean, we really have some games where we felt like, we had some chances that we didn't capitalize on. But to be playing this late in the year and pick up the win against New Caney that kind of threw us into, I guess, what's a 3 or 4-way tie there with Porter and New Caney and Lufkin to make this thing interesting to finish out the last 2 weeks. It's kind of refreshing. It gives our kids, our kids have been awesome even through the last year where we struggled and weren't able to put together a win. I felt like our kids worked all the way down to the wire. And so I don't question our kids and their work ethic and how they're working, but for them to have something that on the table, the possibility to be fighting for a playoff spot at this point, makes it even that much more easy for them to come in and keep working and fighting and grabbing. And that's what you want. You want their efforts to pay off and for them to be in the middle of things, and that's where we are. Well,
understatement of the evening thus far, Coach, is that it is interesting with everybody log jammed at 3-3. And when you look at it on paper, if I were to be candid, the one I think that got away was the Porter game. When you look at this matchup and you say, okay, this is a game that could be either way, and it was not the best night for Bulldog football, but you learned a lot from it and you rebound from it. And for them to turn around the next week and beat a Magnolia, who were one of the couple teams who were in what I would call the upper echelon of the district, after you did a strong performance on Thursday, it had to have you scratching your head looking at this complex situation that we have for these final few spots.
Well, that's what, some of the coaches were trying to kind of figure out what the scenarios are and what this has got to happen for this team to get in. And there's too much football left to be played. And, you can say that there's some teams at the top and maybe some of the teams at the bottom don't have a chance to beat them, but you still got to wait and see what New Caney does. They're playing Mag one week and Magnolia West the next week, and Porter has got a game against Magnolia left. And, of course, we play College Station and then close with Lufkin. And so Lufkin is in the mix with Waller right there, and as well as New Caney and Porter. So there's so many games that could go one way or the other. And College Station closes with Mag West. So there's a lot of games left that can determine the fate of those last third, maybe even the fourth, and maybe even third and fourth playoff spots in our district. So we worked really hard with our kids to try to focus on, treating this one game at a time and controlling the things that we have control over. And so we're not going to spend a lot of time talking about who's got to beat who. We're going to try to worry and put our focus on, College Station.
Absolutely. The main thing is making sure that you take care of the game in front of you and let the chips fall where they may. And it's no better situation nor feeling for that as a coach, as a player, as administrative support teams to have the electricity that's floating around right now. Now, with this being an unusual season, at the depths where we are right now, this would actually be equivalent to the first week of playoffs. So are you preparing with your work schedule for as if this would be a playoff game? How are you preparing with this Thanksgiving holiday coming up to play that Friday night?
Well, we in some ways I can say we're treating it a little bit like a playoff because we're out of school, and so we'll practice in the morning and get the kids out by noon and give them the rest of their day to go spend and be kids. I'm sure there'll be a lot of video games being played, a lot of horse playing, and so sometimes when we practice in the evening over these breaks, it kind of takes their days away from them. So we'll get in and get out and be done by noon, and we can all spend some time with our family and kind of enjoy the best of both worlds. And you always want to be playing football, during Thanksgiving because that means you're in the playoffs. And so to know that we're playing for an effort to get into the playoffs, it's still refreshing to be playing football this week.
Absolutely. And as far as being victorious over the Cougars, what do they like to do, Coach, and what do you see as the strength for the neutralizing their projected game plan?
Well, there's certainly some great teams in our district, and without bashing any team, I would say it would be hard not to say that College Station is not the most disciplined team that we will face. And so they, along with their discipline, they certainly have some great players. Coach Huff's son is the quarterback, and he's kind of the keys to the team and the engine that makes it go. And he does a great job at distributing the ball around to some of their skilled kids who are exceptional kids. And I think some of the things that you see in our league is occasionally you see some teams having to move a kid from corner to receiver and vice versa, and maybe a tight end that has to play a little defensive tackle, but their depth is just very impressive. Very few, if any, kids at all play on both sides of the ball. So they're a very well-coached, disciplined team, got a great leader at quarterback, and probably one of the biggest defensive lines, if not the biggest, that we have seen all year long. So, we'll have to bring our A game to stay on the field with those guys.
Yes, sir. Now, and speaking of the A game, Coach, I noticed and I'm pretty sure you guys have talked about it as a staff, there have been a lot of penalties more on the personal foul types, where maybe guys are losing their cool just a little bit. Have you been trying to get them to keep their composure? And when teams have a way to say, hey, they think you could be baited, they'll try a little harder with a guy of less significance to try to bait some of the key players. Have you discussed that with you guys?
Absolutely. I think the thing is with young kids and teenagers sometimes, and we all, even as adults, we get wrapped up a little bit around our perspective. And I think one of the key things to growing a program and becoming a program that understands that is to be able to expand that vision and expand that perspective to understand that my actions can affect those of my teammates or the outcome of my teammates. And so we have talked a lot about this throughout the course of the season, and we'll continue to try to grow in those areas. And I think 99.9% of it is that kids, when they can stop and process and understand, okay, I'm doing something that's hurting my team and hurting my friends that get dressed out in that locker room with me, they learn how better to control and manage the emotions that get out of hand and get out of check a little bit. So we're not where we want to be in regards to that, but we're continuing to work on that and see that as an area that we need to address and grow in.
Yes, sir. Well, the Bulldogs will be back in action on Friday night, 7 p.m. is the kickoff time. You can listen live right here at the Open Mic Broadcast Network. The final home game of the regular season, and hopefully the Bulldogs will have a lot more football packed in their bags for the remaining of this season. Coach, we want to thank you so much for joining us on the Brazos Valley Schools Credit Union Hotline, and we can't wait till we give the call of a Bulldog touchdown coming real soon. We want to thank you again, Coach. We're going to take us a break, and we'll be right back with more of tonight's episode of the Mike Prince Show live right here at the Open Mic Broadcast Network.
Serving the community through faith and athletics. The Open Mic Broadcast Network.
At 17 cents a day, you can make a huge impact on our local and regional high school and college student athletic coverage. We provide local talk shows, live game coverage, and much, much more. But we need your support to continue to move forward. Visit our website today at obnradio.com. Click on the PayPal button, which is safe and secure, and become a listening partner today. Will you become part of the Open Mic Broadcast Network team? Visit that website at obnradio.com and become a listening partner today. Serving the community through faith and athletics, the voice of student athletics, the Open Mic Broadcast Network, Prairie View, Texas.
One voice. It can get the point across, but it only carries so far. Add a voice. It's richer, louder, but that has limits too. Add a third voice. It's even more powerful. Add another, and another, and many, many more. And we are stronger than ever. That's the power of a community coalition. They help community groups, faith groups, civic organizations, PTAs, employers, and many others in your community organize their resources and focus them where they're needed most, like fighting to keep kids away from drugs. Ask a group that you belong to if they should belong to a community coalition. It's easy to get involved. Visit helpyourcommunity.org and they'll tell you exactly how your group can help. That's helpyourcommunity.org, because you get more when we get together. Brought to you by the Office of National Drug Control Policy and the Ad Council.
Looking to expand your business or services? Let the Open Mic Broadcast Network help lead the way. With our customized campaigns, we are definitely able to reach your target audience. For more information, dial 832-213-8824. The Open Mic Broadcast Network, serving the community through faith and athletics. The voice of student athletics. And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Mike Prince Show Sunday Night Live edition. We're going back to our Brazos Valley Schools Credit Union hotline, and we are going to stay in the zip code of 77446. Introduce to some, present to others, the athletic director of the Prairie View A&M University Panthers, none other than Dr. Donald Reed. How you doing this evening, sir?
Doing outstanding. I'm excited. We're about to start our athletics here soon, so all is going well, and our student athletes are focused on finishing strong academically as well as performing at a very high level within their sport.
Yes, sir, and I know that nothing is ever written in stone, but you had to figure that you didn't expect some of the things you had to deal with within your first 90 days of being at the head chair.
No, sir. It's one of those kinds of things that you have to be prepared for sudden change, and you have to prepare to make a decision as to whether you move forward or postpone or suspend activities due to COVID-19, because first we want to make sure that our student athletes, our coaches and staff, as well as our patrons and fans are safe, and we provide a great environment for them to stay safe.
Yes, sir. And I'm glad that you talked about the patrons and fans and this, that, and the other, because it leads me to the first question. And I guess it's no question is, I guess, an easy question when you're in the hot seat. But the question of the first one for the evening is, there's ticket prices. I don't know. Is it true that there's going to be an increase of ticket prices or decrease of ticket prices? Where do we stand on ticket prices right now? I get calls. They think I'm the one with all the answers, but I say I can get the people who have the answers. So if you could, could you explain the ticket situation as far as Prairie View is concerned?
Well, the ticket situation going into this spring season, we will hold the ticket price that we have committed to as if we were in the fall season. So that would include all of the sports that move to spring. So there won't be any change relative to that. We will have a diminished capacity due to COVID-19 as well as CDC and state guidelines as far as gatherings and sporting events. So that will have a definite impact in the size of crowd that we have. So those are the only adjustments that we'll make, and it's due to COVID-19.
Okay, and with that, one thing that does not change is the operating cost, and that's going to still be the flat line, if not increase, with some of the added layers that you have. Has that been a concern as far as profits gained and lost, as far as the fiscal part of it? Because we do know about the part of competition, but it is a business, and all business that I checked are to try to make some type of profit. So is there a concern that the profit will not be as marginal as could be?
Yes, there's definitely concern. I mean, we will be challenged budgetarily due to the added costs that we are incurring based on testing for our student athletes as well as staff in regards to COVID-19, and also the revenue lost due to COVID-19 as far as football guarantee games as well as men's and women's basketball guarantee games. So there'll be a significant hit to our budget, and we are looking to make sure that we can fill that void through fundraising and philanthropic efforts and the support of yourself as well as our corporate sponsors and our donors and our fans and our alumni.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Everyone in the country is struggling from that standpoint because we incurred a cost that we could not have anticipated with regard to testing as well as the other elements we'd have to deal with in regards to size of fans or size of venue in regards to the number of people we're able to have in our stadium as well as in the Baby Dome.
Absolutely. We're talking live right now with Dr. Donald Reed, Athletic Director for the Prairie View A&M University Panthers. And Coach, and I did it again. I called you Coach, but we're going to get through it.
No, it's okay. We're all coaches over here.
Yes,
so
sir. Yes, sir. Good. Now, with that being said, you just alluded to testing. And there are so many various forms of testing, and then there's even monitoring versus testing, and there are differences in the approach and how things are done. And I guess this is a twofold question. What test are we using, and how do we get to that one, and what would be the cost per person? I would say student athlete, but you have to do staff and everybody else. So what test are we using, and how do we come to that test of choice at Prairie View?
We're using what's called a curative test. It's a mouth swab as opposed to nasal or saliva. So we use that test, and our staff test once a week, and those that are inside what we call the bubble, depending on the size of team, will test up to 2 to 3 times a week. So, for example, because men's and women's basketball are about to compete actually this coming week, they are being tested 2 to 3 times a week up until they start competing, which will be next week. And then 72 hours or less before each of their competitions, they will be testing again throughout the season. So we have a battery of tests, if you will, throughout the week to ensure that everyone is safe. Not only student athletes, again, staff, as well as any support staffs, i.e. sports medicine or sports performance staff also test regularly. So that is something that is different than what we've done previously. And it has a definite impact on the experience as well as on the budget.
Okay, and with that, what is the average turnaround time for results on this particular test?
This particular test, we get results anywhere from 24 to 36 hours. It's a really quick turnaround. We've been very fortunate to have great support from our Student Health Services Department, as well as Student Affairs and the University Administration. So it was very helpful and integral to our success as far as our testing protocol goes. And so we've been very fortunate to have the ability to do that and get the results turned around very quickly.
Yes, sir. And with that being said, with the testing that's done, the anxiety and all the pressure that are on you all as administrators, the coaches, and even the student athletes to a degree of wanting to perform, not sure if they'll be able to perform or compete. What, and if there's anything to be done toward the mental wellness of students and staff that you guys have in place?
Yes, we use our counseling services area on campus. We make sure that students are engaging in conversation about what's going on with them mentally and emotionally. It's very front of mind for us. We have a holistic approach on health and wellness, not only physical health, but the mental and emotional health of our student athletes. So that is definitely a priority because we have a philosophy of treating the whole person. So it's a holistic approach to our processes, not only just from a physical standpoint, but a mental and emotional standpoint. Okay,
very good. Once again, we're talking with Dr. Donald Reed, Athletic Director for the Prairie View A&M University Panthers. Coach, I did it again. It's okay.
Hey, well, back in one of my former professional lives, I coached for a year at the University of North Texas. So
yes, sir.
I'm a coach at heart.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I do understand. Now, with everything that's been going on, you got 90 days under your belt right now. It was July 15th that you came on board. Here we are looking at November 22nd. And I know you're a sharp knife in the drawer. You wouldn't be in the seat that you're in right now. With all that being said, you had a chance to assess, test, analyze, and dissect the data. Have you come to what is needed to get this athletic department in the direction that you would like to see it in? And are there any administrative pieces that you're going to be adding in the very near future?
I will start with the middle part first.
Okay.
One of the things that we're looking at is, of course, generating revenue, and that would be through philanthropy. So to address part number 3, we want to make sure that we have an external relations department that will engage not only our alumni and our current donors, but also prospect others to provide financial support to us as an athletics program. So that is definitely something that's needed for us to continue on an upward trajectory with regard to our athletics programs, performance from an athletic standpoint, but then also assist with the academic support that we would need to go forward in a positive way on the academic side, making sure that our students are having a very well-rounded experience. addressing academic development, personal and social responsibility, as well as career development. So all of those elements will encompass the student-athlete experience that we want to continue to provide and elevate, and that is very important to us, and that means we need to generate the revenues in order to make sure that our vision will come true by providing a outstanding first-class experience at a very high level for our student athletes.
Okay, and as far as the administrative additions, are there any near futures for that, or do you even see a need to add anyone to the team?
Well, the first part is, first and foremost, would be the external component.
Okay.
So having a robust fundraising and marketing effort that we currently do not have a marketing director. So definitely looking for the marketing external component, which will allow us to have a wide and broad reach of folks that are out there that we can engage in conversation about investing in our student athletes at Prairie View A&M University.
Okay, very good. So you need someone that can connect the dots to.
Yes, sir. Someone like yourself.
Hey,
someone
well,
like
you know, you got my number. You know my office hours. You know, have your people call my people, and as they say, let's get it done. Let's get it done. Now, of course, we know that money is a motivator, budget wise, and this, that, and the other. And there have been some projected cuts earlier throughout the year, and we know that the longer these things delay, you made reference to how the guaranteed games. But if the truth really be told, Coach, and the true money as far as FCS, other than the guaranteed games, is really going to be dependent on if basketball season could get that tournament off, because there's a lot of love spread through that NCAA March Madness tournament. That's why I believe,
that's correct.
Yes, sir, all the efforts are really, because if the truth be told, Power Five and even to a degree Group of Fives, they've gone rogue, and it's just a matter of time. I think that the NCAA is going to have to restructure football as we once upon a time knew it, to try to regain some of the reins on it. But could you explain the financial piece as far as basketball is concerned?
Well, with what's going on now, you as a non-P5 or Group of Five program, you typically have what they call guarantee games or participate in multi-team events. And we do that, and that has a financial return on those appearances, which helps us with our budget. So, for example, just like with football, you would engage in conversation with the university or program and agree to compete. Typically, it would be on the road at their home site. However, if you were in a multi-team event, you would be more times than not at a neutral site, and each team would receive a guarantee, if you would, to participate in the event. But with COVID-19, just like with football, there have been a lot of changes with regard to the number of multi-team events or home games for those teams that are looking for games, and it's impacted the bottom line, as you would expect. So basketball is one of those sports that typically schedule 1 year, maybe some 2 years in advance the most. Football typically schedules 4, 5, 6, 7 years in advance. So depending on the sport, you would have a pretty good idea of what your next year, next few years would look like. And then in certain instances, you would have to make adjustments just like everyone has due to COVID-19.
Absolutely, sir. And because I'm a man of my word, we got you in your requested time zone. I got one question left to ask you, and I'm gonna put it on a range scale. Spring football on a scale of 1 to 10. What are the chances that you believe we'll see the full spring football season go into effect, with 10 being the greatest number?
I'm a cautiously optimistic guy, so I would say 6.5.
6.5 it is, and you heard it from the athletic director himself, Dr. Donald Reed. So we want to thank you so much for joining in with us tonight on the Brazos Valley Schools Credit Union Hotline. Please remember that there's always a light on for you here at the Open Mic, and we look forward to talking to you very soon.
All right. Thank you, sir. And thank you, Panther fans and alumni and donors. Go Panthers.
Go Panthers it is. That was Dr. Donald Reed, Athletic Director for the Prairie View A&M University Panthers. We're going to take us a break, and we're going to stay in Waller County. We got a Waller County theme working tonight. We'll hear from Coach Earl Claiborne, head basketball coach of the Waller Bulldogs. They're off to a 2-1 start. Keep it right where you got it. You're listening to Sunday Night Live right here at the Open Mic Broadcast Network.
Serving the community through faith and athletics. The Open Mic Broadcast Network.
You want answers? I think I'm entitled. You want answers? I want the truth. You can't handle the truth. I have a greater responsibility than you can possibly fathom. You don't want the truth because deep down in places you don't talk about at parties, you want me on that wall. You need me on that wall.
Join us for a daily episode of the Mike Prince Show right here at the Open Mic Broadcast Network.
Hello, this is Alonzo Hardy Jr., the president of the SWAC Alumni Association. The SWAC Alumni Association is an organization founded on December 10, 1999 at the Sheraton Hotel in Birmingham, Alabama. Its mission is to serve as a rallying ground for individuals who have made the Southwestern Athletic Conference the illustrious conference that it is today. Its membership is open to former student athletes who played in the conference in any sport, as well as to coaches, athletic administrators, staff members, game officials, and fans. Annually, the association holds a Legends Awards and Roast Banquet or luncheon where it honors individuals with Lifetime Achievement Awards, a Chuck Prophet Wagon Master Award, and occasionally a Distinguished Service Award. Proceeds from that event help to finance degree completion scholarships for student athletes who have exhausted their playing eligibility at SWAC universities, but who may still need an extra semester or two to complete their college studies. For more information on the SWAC Alumni Association, or to get information on becoming a member, you can send correspondence to SWAC Alumni Association, 875 Miller Creek Lane, Newport News, Virginia, 23602. The email address is swacaluminassociation@yahoo.com.
This broadcast is being made possible by the support of the Prairie View Athletic Club. The Prairie View Athletic Club is a proud supporter of Prairie View A&M University athletics. For more information on becoming a member of the Prairie View Athletic Club, send your email to pvathletic.club@gmail.com. That email address again is pvathletic.club@gmail.com. Prairie View Athletic Club, a proud supporter of Prairie View A&M University athletics.
Brazos Valley Schools Credit Union has 13 different locations to better serve you. Locations in Rosenberg, Missouri City, Katy, College Station, Bryan, Brenham, and Waller, Texas. For more information, you can contact them on their toll-free number, 855-391-2149. Or you can send an email to information@bvscu.org.
Broadcasters come into our lives on radio and TV, bringing us information and entertainment. Broadcasters are there for us, but who is there for them when they fall on hard times? The Broadcasters Foundation of America provides financial assistance to broadcasters in acute need due to a critical illness, accident, or other serious misfortune. If you know of a broadcaster on the air or behind the scenes who may need our help, please share our message. Visit broadcastersfoundation.org.
And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Mike Prince Show live here at the Open Mic Broadcast Network. We have been in Waller County all evening, and we might as well continue to stay. We're going to head down to the high school basketball gymnasium. Head basketball coach Earl Claiborne. How you doing this evening, sir?
I'm doing good, my brother. How you doing out there?
Man, I'm doing great, man. Look, you off to a 2-1 start. You got a scoring machine on your hands. We'll talk about it a little bit later on. But so far, so good to this young season.
Yes, extremely pleased with the quick start. But it's a tribute to the guys. You know, they putting in the work, and these are the results.
Yes, sir. And you had a came up short on Saturday, played Aldine Mustangs. 62-60 was the final score. But you had a young man broke out for 40 points, man. What's going on over there, Coach?
Well, you're speaking of Jackson Mays. Jackson Mays is one of those kids that can do it all. You know, he has a extremely high basketball IQ. And he does whatever needs to be done for the team in order for the team to be successful. And one of his roles now, you know, by us being shorthanded, by not having all of our kids, is to pick up his score. And in his first ball game, he scored 27. And I told him after the game, I said, I need 30. And so I guess he took it to another level and said, all right, I'll show you, Coach. I'll give you 40. And so as long as he's putting in work, you know, great kid, just extremely competitive. And, I just look for great things out of him and all of the rest of those young guys.
Yes, sir. Now, I'm not trying to push him out the doors just yet, but he is one of your seniors on the squad, and he's got a strong look right now. He's doing pretty good in the classroom, but he's somewhat of a hybrid player, I would say. He has size, but when he goes to, next level, he would almost be looked at as a guard almost, wouldn't he?
Well, yeah, and that's what we're training him to be right now. That's why he has the ball in his hands so much. And he's very comfortable in that role. He can handle the ball, he can facilitate, he can shoot the ball. A gentleman in the stands the other day came out of the stands after the game to congratulate and say, man, I've been around basketball for a long time, and I've never seen a kid I haven't seen a kid in a long time that has your basketball IQ. And that came from someone that didn't even know him, that just saw him play. So, I said, take that as a compliment, and let's just keep working.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We're talking right now with Earl Claiborne, head basketball coach of the Waller Bulldogs here on the Brazos Valley Schools Credit Union Hotline. Now, Coach, it's always not where you start, but it's always good to start off good. You're still a few games away from district play, and some of your philosophy that you use when you're playing these non-district games leading up toward district play.
Well, in order to be one of the best, you got to go and compete against the best. And that's why we schedule these 6A schools, because, they have a lot more kids to choose from. And that's a good way to test yourself to kind of see where you are. And then the other thing about that is I love competition. I don't care who you are. If you want to play some basketball, let's lace them up and let's go play.
Yes, sir. Let's get it done, baby. Let's get it done. Now, with all that being said, you're playing a matinee game on Tuesday. 1:30 is the tip-off, and we're trying to make sure that we have things in place to do that remote broadcast for you guys. But line up who your competition will be this week, or this Tuesday, I should say, and then give us a little bit more of your schedule ahead.
Okay, well, I'm glad you asked that, because there's been a change in the game on the 28th, but I'll just speak about the game Tuesday is against Bryan High School, and we match up really well with Bryan. As a matter of fact, we beat them last in overtime in the Montgomery tournament, so they'll be looking to get a little revenge on us this year. So, but it's always a good matchup to play those guys. And but what I want our fans to understand is that the game that we were scheduled to play at home Saturday versus Fulshire has been canceled.
Okay.
That game was scheduled to be played at Waller at 3:00, that game has been canceled.
Okay, well, there was a little outbreak in that area, so
yes,
so
and that was the cause of the cancellation.
Okay, very good. Well, I'm glad for that heads up, and they heard it here at the open mic. But Coach, I got to give you another props, man. You've been real good, staying on top of your reports this year, man. And I say if that's what it's going to take, then keep on doing what you're doing, Judge.
Well, I appreciate it, man. And, it's all about these kids, and we're trying to promote these kids. And regardless of whether they go to play college basketball or not, the idea is to get them educated, get them somewhere, get them in school, and so they'll have a chance to be productive in society.
Yes, sir. Now, speaking of that, Coach, I want to give some love to these Bulldogs. If you can break down your squad and the roles that each guy play on your squad, because I don't want nobody to hear this and say, man, he was only talking about Mays and didn't talk about nobody else. This, that, and the other, that ain't right.
Absolutely.
So go ahead. The floor is yours, Coach.
Yeah, because we know how that goes. We've been doing this for a long time.
Yes, sir.
And I'll refer back to something that you taught me, Q-tip.
Uh-huh.
Quit taking it personal.
You remember that, huh?
I remember that. And I share that with my kids when they start to get in their feelings.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah. So I'll start with my big fella, 6'6" sophomore Ryan Bolton Jr. As a matter of fact, Ryan right now is averaging 11 rebounds, 4 blocks, and 6 points. And so he really had a come out party the other day in our 2-point loss against Aldine. He had 15 rebounds and 10 block shots. So we're really looking forward to really working with him and developing him. Another senior is Jaylen Duncan. Jaylen right now is averaging 15 points a game. Real solid outside shooter, good ball handler, smart kid. He was part of our playoff run last year. As a matter of fact, he was also a all-district selection for us. So we're glad to have him back for his senior year.
Yes, sir.
Kaden Robinson is another senior that's with us right now. He's averaging 4 points and right at 4 steals per game. He does a fine job with his defensive intensity. That's what we need him for. He's a great on-ball defender. And with these guys really understanding their roles, that makes my job a lot easier as a coach. We have another senior, Estefan Bakongo. Mr. Bakongo is our Dennis Rodman of the team. He knows that his job is to get rebounds, block shots, and putbacks. And he does a fine job at that. And then I want to recognize a young man that just moved in from Bridgeland, Braden Lee. He's a transfer kid that we got in here, and we're always glad to get those good transfers. He'll help us tremendously. And we also have a couple of kids that are coming from football. Isaiah Blair, first team all-district last year. He was MVP of the district. We expected him back. Mason Stewart, our point guard for the last 4 years, our little general, so to speak.
Yes, sir.
Isaiah Napolis, who's a shooting guard for us. And we also have a kid, Aaron Ramos, who's back.
Yes, sir.
A newcomer from we got this kid from Brenham, Texas, 6'3", Eddie Tucson. And we're really looking for good things out of him. And last, we have a kid, Eric Halston, who's an outstanding defensive player. So we're looking for good things out of these kids, and the future really looks bright for Waller basketball.
Yes, sir. Coach, you're going to have a good problem, man. Number one, you're not going to have enough balls. And what's a more serious concern about the chemistry? Because right now you have your set of guys who come in, and we're still dealing with young testosterone. And man, when we've been here, y'all coming in here getting all this love.
Right.
You know, how do you balance that out to keep the focus of the team overall success at the front lobe of everyone?
Well, first off, those guys understand, the ones that are there now. I make it plain that there's no secret about this. When these guys come from football, they coming and they hungry. So it's up to you to hold your spot. And if you can't hold your spot, Coach Claiborne got to do what Coach Claiborne got to do for the betterment of the team.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. So, I don't get caught up in the individual things about, well, how the parents feel about this and that and the other. I'm not concerned about the parents. I'm concerned about the team. And so with that mindset and that culture, and first of all, those kids understand if you don't play defense, you don't play.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So, I don't have these specialists. Well, I'm a 3-point shooter. Well, can you play defense? and so we have that culture already developed within our program, and the kids understand what my expectations are. And we just go from there. We take one day at a time and let them fall where they're going to fall.
Yes, sir. Coach, look, man, you have been, as they say, a breath of fresh air with us on this evening. And we truly, truly appreciate everything that's happening right now. Bulldogs 2-1 will be in action on Tuesday. 1:30 is a tip-off time, right, Coach?
Yes, sir. And our JV will start at 12 noon.
At 12 noon. Coach, we're going to give you some closing thoughts and comments before we have to take our final break of the evening. And the floor is now yours, sir.
Okay, well, I just encourage people to come out and support our young men because they're doing a fine job, not just on the basketball court, but in the classroom. That's where I'm extremely proud of my guys at. I don't have to worry about going to check grades because my guys understand that, hey, listen, it's not about basketball. It's about the educational part of it. And so that's what I want to leave everybody with, and people to understand that, you can come play basketball and come play sports, but at the end of the day, you better have something in that brain.
You better have something in that brain is absolutely right. Coach Earl Claiborne of the Waller Bulldogs, 2-1, be next in action on Tuesday. You can listen live right here at the Open Mic Broadcast Network. We got to take a break, and we'll come back with our final thoughts and comments for tonight's episode. You're listening to the Mike Prince Show live edition right here at the Open Mic Broadcast Network. Let's face it, from time to time, we'll have a need for an attorney, whether it's the case of a DUI, DWI, or any other circumstances that would find you on the other side of the law. Attorney Lee Van Richardson, located at 1047 Austin Street, is the one to call. Attorney Lee Van Richardson and his staff are equipped to help you get through your legal battles. Attorney Lee Van Richardson, 979-826-8008 in Hempstead, Texas. Brazos Valley Schools Credit Union has 13 different locations to better serve you. Locations in Rosenberg, Missouri City, Katy, College Station, Bryan, Brenham, and Waller, Texas. For more information, you can contact them on their toll-free number, 855-391-2149. Or you can send an email to information@bvscu.org. The Purple Drip Daiquiri and Grill is a restaurant to soothe your Caribbean taste buds. Located at 629 Sharon Street in Prairie View, Texas, the Purple Drip Daiquiri and Grill has a variety of options to choose from. Curry goat, curry chicken, stew beef, jerk chicken, oxtails, barbecue chicken, pork chops, chicken tenders, meatloaf, hamburgers, nachos, turkey wings, fried chicken, and don't forget the sides. White rice, green beans, pork and beans, mashed potatoes, cabbage, rice and peas, French fries, and fried cabbage. The Purple Drip has convenient hours to satisfy any appetite. Monday through Fridays, 10 a.m. to 12 a.m. Saturdays from 10 a.m. to 1 a.m. The Purple Drip, we're dripping out the spot. Call and make your order today. 346-978-2875. That number again, 346-978-2875. The Purple Drip Daiquiri and Grill, Prairie View, Texas.
Serving the community through faith and athletics. The Open Mic Broadcast Network.
And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. We are coming to the conclusion of tonight's edition of the Mike Prince Show. But before I go, I want to share just a moment or two with you. We had a letter of concern to PV Nation from our beloved alumni president. very to the point, very information packed. And to be quite honest with you, it was something that needed to be said, and it was something that has been said. But sometimes we'll get caught up on who it is that's actually bringing the message. And sometimes we can miss the very essence of what's going on and should be going on because of who the messenger is. I say all that to say this, that if I love something and you love something, and it's both beneficial to both sides, we ought to be able to reason together for the good of that very thing that we love. With that being said, we want to thank our guest for tonight, Gene Johnson with the Waller Bulldogs, Athletic Director Dr. Donald Reed with Prairie View A&M University, and head basketball coach of the Waller Bulldogs, Earl Claiborne. Don't forget, you can follow me on Twitter at The Mike Prince Show. The YouTube channel is Open Mic Broadcast Network. And visit the website at obnradio.com. Become a listening partner today, because every little bit does make a difference. I've got to go right now. The clock on the wall tells me that is all, and I must exit stage left. I am the radio guy, Dr. Mike Prince, and as always, you guys be blessed, and we'll see you on the other side.